Hi guys, I'm just here to introduce a brand new boxing show for myself. My name's Mathias. I'm going to have a show called Boxing with Mathias, and hopefully here's the intro. Hi guys, definitely apologise about the editing skills. It's definitely not my forte. As the weeks and months go on now, we'll hopefully get better and look a little bit more clean, a little bit more crisp. But just to sort of give you a bit of a heads up, looking to do this on a weekly basis. It's going to be called Mathias on Boxing. Just to sort of give you a bit of a heads up, the main preface of the show is going to be looking at reviews and previews of fights. I'm going to get one out this week on Wednesday for Caleb Pratt and Caleb Truex. Have a bit of British interest. One will hopefully one day fight Billy Joe Saunders in a British unification fight. If not Billy Joe, then it is likely to be Canelo Alvarez, who I think is the favourite for that. Before I keep rattling on, just going to give yourself a bit of an introduction to myself. My name's Mathias. I've been a boxing fan for as long as I can remember, really. My first ever boxing memory was as a 7 or 8 year old in my bedroom watching Nigel Benn versus Gerald McClellan. Now, as it goes, that's one really tragic fight. McClellan ended up in hospital, ended up with brain damage. So yeah, how that attracted a 7 or 8 year old kid probably says a lot about me, to be honest. Then we go into the next following on era, which is like, I'm looking at Lennox Lewis, Prince Nazim Hamed. I always remember Nazim Hamed beating Steve Robinson. I think that's what pretty much cemented me being a massive boxing fan. Then you got Joe Calzaghe. I think it's always easier to follow someone from your own country, and Calzaghe will go down as one of the best ever in the sport. And then into Ricky Hatton, and then we've got today's current group of fighters with Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, etc., etc. On the other side of the pond, we got Floyd Mayweather, the greatest fighter in my opinion, the best of my generation. But then don't forget Oscar De La Hoya, Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., just to name a few. Along with previews and reviews, I'll also be giving out my predictions, and I'll also be looking to call friends as well to get their prediction. It's sort of like a challenge with Mathias. You can tell me that I'm completely deluded, or you can agree with me and say, yep, you're talking sense, and that's another fight you got spot on. I do say another. I'll be looking to call up these friends and look to have it as a boxing sort of phone-in chat. If you look at Radio 5 Live, they got 6 or 6 after all the games on a Saturday. You got Talk Sports Drive-In show. They do exactly the same. So it's nothing like that for boxing. So it's like a boxing come podcast. It's just all just boxing content really. And hopefully, yeah, you guys will enjoy this. As well as that, I've also put together some fantasy matchups that I would love to see. I've listed about 29, 30 at the moment. I've already sent them across to 2 of my buddies, Joe and Scott, and we've already got disagreement going on with some of the fights there. So I can definitely see how other people will have different opinions, whether it's right or wrong. But I'll be giving my predictions, breaking down the fights, doing a little tail of the tape, just giving you a bit of an outlay of how I think these classic fights would have happened. If there's any fights that you think, wow, that's one I really would love to see, then yeah, definitely give me a call, drop me a comment, and that would be absolutely fantastic. We can get some of your fights involved as well, and be happy to review whatever really. But firstly, for the first show, for this show, it's just quite simple, talking about the 5 fights that I want to see in 2021. And the first fight I want to see made of 2021 is Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. It's probably the most 50-50 fight that I can think of out there right now. 2 massive names in the welterweight division. Errol Spence has just come back off a 15-month layoff and we had a car accident and ended up in a coma. He came back and beat Danny Garcia. Obviously, Terence Crawford has beaten up the 2 UK guys in Amir Khan and Kell Brook. With Crawford, although he has been campaigning in the welterweight division for the last 2 years, he hasn't really fought a name. So going into that fight, I would give Errol Spence the advantage, 51-49. It's a fight that really needs to happen. But I say that prediction with absolutely no confidence because Terence Crawford is an absolutely amazing fighter and definitely both considered as one of the best in the world. The next fight that I want to happen is Josh Taylor versus Teofimo Lopez. There's quite a few things that need to happen for this, to be honest. So this is a little bit of a far left one. We got Taylor fighting Ramirez towards the middle of the year for the undisputed light welterweight championship. And we also got Teofimo likely to fight Campos out in Australia, but he may end up fighting Devin Haney. He will be defending his lightweight title, which he beat Lomachenko for earlier in the year. So we do need two things to happen. We need Teofimo to win his fights. We need Josh Taylor to win his fights. Then we will have the lightweight champion versus the light welterweight champion in an absolutely massive undisputed class. It would be great if we could get that over in Scotland. Can imagine a crowd up in Glasgow, Edinburgh, absolutely rocking. Wouldn't have expected that Teofimo would ever experience something like that. And it'd be great to see Josh Taylor win a fight of that magnitude. Fight 4, if you're in boxing, you'll know these guys, but Bivol versus Beterbiev. Both fighters are absolute beasts, both from Russia, so it'd be absolutely incredible to see that fight happen in Russia. Although from a selfish and production point of view, I'd rather see it in the USA. Beterbiev is coming to the end of his career at 36. Both guys really inexperienced. Beterbiev is going into his 15th fight. He's only had 4 fights in the last 4 years. Bivol, pretty much the same. He's 17-0. He's just a really, really good fighter. These guys are considered the top 2 in the light heavyweight division. One day we could see one of these fighting a Callum Smith, a Joshua Buatsi, depending on their production. Well, that's not even a word. Keeping on their progression. But it would be really, really awesome if we could get to see this fight in 2021 as well. And the third fight I'm looking to see would be Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. Originally, I never thought I would be getting into women's boxing. I didn't think it would be for me. But Katie Taylor, massive influence in the UK on the women's scene, has actually changed my mind on that. I watched her fight with Pursoon, both fights, and they were both absolute wars. The skill level that Katie shows in those fights, although I did think she lost, it's just that sort of opened my eyes to women's boxing there. Amanda Serrano, I've never actually seen her fight, to be completely netly honest. But I definitely will be going back and watching some of her fights. But this is a fight that is going to just make women's boxing go to a different level. On the UK, there are a few UK world champions as well. So it's great to see the women's boxing growing as well. And imagine if I got to number 5 and it didn't say it was Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. This is the biggest fight potentially in boxing history. It's going to be the biggest fight of my generation. And at the moment, I'm Team Fury. And nothing will change with that, not even you, Jordan Huntley. It is something that is just going to be an absolute mega fight. It's not going to happen in the UK, which is a real shame because it would have been absolutely incredible to see 90,000 fans there. But you'll have the Gypsy King taking on Anthony Joshua, gold medalist from 2012, in an absolutely fantastic fight. Although I am saying I'm 100% Team Fury, if Anthony Joshua gets in close and it's in with 2 or 3 uppercuts, then that can change in a hurry. But as it stands, no one's convinced me otherwise. The Gypsy King wins that fight. Guys, thanks very much for listening. On the production side of things, this isn't going to be the best. It will get better over time. This really is my thing. This is probably about the 28th edit today. Talking to yourself on a camera is a lot more difficult than I ever thought it would be, especially with my wonderful good looks. So yeah, guys, if you want to give me a like, share, a comment, let me know. It'd be great to get some exposure on this. Cheers. Peace out.